But there's a reason that these speculations have been rife surrounding and whirling around Chris Hughton and a possible sack. We'll tell you why, because Keko Kriku has gone, he's changed and fired quite a number of coaches in the last 3 years. 4 coaches, really, in the last 3 years. First round exits at 2021 AFCON and 2022 World Cup. Let's take a look at some of the coaches he's hired and fired so far. CK Akona, who has given us 10 games, 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. There is also Milovan Rajvac, who's had 8 games, 3 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws. Then there was Otto Addo, who's had 12 games, the highest number of games for any of the coaches in the last 3 years. He's had 5 wins, 4 losses, and 3 draws. And then there is Chris Hughton, the man about whom we are having this conversation. He's had 7 games, 3 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. If you see the pattern, so do I. But let's have a conversation with the man who knows all of this. Sports journalist Sadiq Adams has joined us via Zoom. Sadiq, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time here. Can Ghana afford to lose a coach at this time?
Good afternoon to you. I believe that this is not the right time to start with. We've done this over and over, and it's not yielded any dividend for Black Stars. The sacking of coaches or coaches being scapegoats, just not to say that Chris Hughton has had a very impressive start to his Black Stars career. But the point is that the sacking of coaches, 5 of them in the last 3 years or so, hasn't brought any transformation to the Black Stars. And to see that the coach in charge of the team is trying to build a new squad, and in sporting terms, it will take quite some time for us to get to the level where we want to get to. It is because of the lack of admission of what our standards are at this point, reasons why the sacking of coaches or coaches have become the primary scapegoats. But to me, 2 months before the start of the African Cup of Nations, it's not the right time for sacking of coaches, sporting-wise and even economically. I don't think that is the right decision to take.
I see. Outside of that, I'd like to hear your thoughts on what Hughton could do to retain the position now that speculations of his firing are rife.
I think he should be his own man. There have been concerns about collapse into the Black Stars. There are so many players of Ghanaian origin in other places doing quite good. There are so many youngsters in the team that he's trying to rebuild. I'm sure that what he needs to do is to be consistent and be his own man. At the point that he's seen that he has some hands, he has the support of the country substantially, media behind him, government at this point, and some members of the Football Association also believe that we need to give him some time to be able to have his own signature on the team. I think the time that he's been given is too short. The opponents that he's faced in the last few months, the results have been quite bad, but I don't think that it's a basis for him to be sacked. He needs to be his own man. There are 2 matches ahead of us in this month, World Cup qualifiers, and we can't afford to draw points, especially playing against Madagascar and Comoros. We know what Comoros did to Ghana at the AFCON recently, but that not to say that Chris Hughton will have any excuses when we drop points against Comoros. We need to go to Moroni and win. We need to win against Madagascar next week. So possibly he only needs results to cement his position. There's nothing much more to do.
Sadiq, just hold the line for me. Let's get back onto issues surrounding Chris Hughton. While some believe he should be maintained, others argue the coach has not been up to standard in handling the national team. Speaking to News Central, some Ghanaians suggested it is time for the country to appoint a female coach for the Black Stars. Take a listen.
If for the past 2 games that we've played, they have scored Ghana, why not? Because if maybe they've scored Ghana first match, and then the second we didn't do any better, Why should we keep the same coach? And Ghana said, Charlie, this much. Me, I've given up on Ghana. I've given up on Ghana longer. So they're not giving us much. It's not shocking.
Who do you suggest should now be the new coach? Should Houston be shot?
The what's the name of the coach for the ladies, the Black Queens? She is very, very good. She's very good. That one dear, no lie. We should get a female coach for the first time and try and see.
He's played no more than 5 games, and you want to truncate the contract, you're going to pay a huge sum of money to the man if you should terminate the contract. So for me, I feel and think that it is a little premature for the coach to be sacked or for his appointment to be terminated as of now. And the football is one of the avenues by which we make ourselves happy in the country. And so if we are not getting what we want from the government, and then we are not getting the entertainment we also expect from the football fraternity, then it's a bother to all of us.
We can import players. This is what we have. We are not developing new players from like the coach. The old time we had coaches and staff where we can pick players and then train them for national teams. Now we don't have those things anymore. He's working with what he has. You can sack him and change the coach 100 times. Until you get good players, it's still going to be the same story. We have to sit that up as a nation and invest into sports. And then we can get the kind of players we need, whether football, athletics, or whatever it is, to improve Ghana's. But for now, I don't see that happening.
You heard that call for a female coach. Let's take that conversation back to Sadiq, who's joining us via Zoom. Sadiq, could a female coach have the magic wand for our national team?
Yeah, possible. You never know. There have been novices who come to the Black Stars and done magical with the team. So a female coach, the gender doesn't, negate the fact that the person is competent or not. I don't want to make it a gender issue, whether a male or female. Anybody can come in.
I see you're playing safe on that one. Let's talk about something that you may not play safe on. There are those who are saying that instead of playing the musical chairs with the coaches, they should look at the players. Could that be the solution?
Definitely. Even beyond the players, Kemini, I don't think that the current design of the Black Stars or national team, even Pep Guardiola of Manchester City will succeed with the team like he would want to. Not even Pep Guardiola would have an easy ride in the current design and structure of the Black Stars. The players are not up to the level you want. There have been players who've never competed at the highest level in their clubs this season. Some of them are French players. They've come to the national team. Some are called. They never get the opportunity to play. We don't have the top talent. We are not producing. So it's a matter of long-term development. You mentioned Kudus. You mentioned Kamaldeen. You mentioned this. But compare them to other players playing in other teams. You don't even need individual players to perform at the national team level. You need a team, a setup. So every component must function. So like I say, you can sack Chris Hughton today and bring in Pep Guardiola.
Right.
Because of the peculiar nature of the design, the failures are plenty around the Black Stars. So we need time for them to build their own team and then put in the right structures for a long-term commitment. Yeah.
Sadiq, thank you so much for your insight on the subject matter. Now, that's a story we'll continue to follow here on News Central. But I tell you what, we've got much more news coming on in the second segment of our show today. Don't go away.